Good evening all. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. So thanks for joining the session. Good participation. Basically, today we have 3 questions to discuss. So I had gone through certain answer scripts, but since you have posted very recently, I could not go through all the answer scripts. Among the people who are present in today's class, who are the ones I have never discussed any answer from the answers you have written? Raise your hand. Yes. Never discussed any answer of yours. Anil, yeah. Anil, I remember. Anyone else? Anyone else? I'm in class. Okay. Vasavi, yeah. Okay. So fine. First, I'll try to open Anil's questions. So these are the questions. First, second, and third. Okay. Then Anil, you sent in personal window, I guess, right? Yeah. See the first question, everyone. Do you agree? Do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be a consequence of rising cultural assertiveness? So very tricky question, and where certain judgment is required. And very latest question also, 2020. Do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be a consequence of rising cultural assertiveness? What are the important aspects here? Anyone? What are the important aspects and the core demand of the question? Do you agree that regionalism in India appears to be a consequence of rising cultural assertiveness? What are the key words in this question? I am not audible or what? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Someone can just unmute and talk. Sriram, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you? I saw that you have not submitted the answers, right?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. I have not written, sir. Right.
Okay, then see the question and try to analyze what is the demand of the question.
Sir, it is asking how, like, whether regionalism in India is consequence of cultural assertiveness, in the sense rise of cultural what we call it, distinctiveness and cultural separation, or difference in cultures.
What do you understand by cultural assertion? Bhaskar, anthropology optional. Are you there, Bhaskar? Bhaskar is not available in the class. Okay, he's not there, I think. Others, anyone having anthropology optional? Okay. Even if you don't have anthropology optional, you can still explain what is cultural assertion. Sriram, can you explain?
I'm not sure, sir.
Jitender, Vaishnavi, Navya, anyone who can explain what is cultural assertion? Soumya, Indu. Anil, you explain what is cultural assertion? Anyone? Surprising.
Sir, I think it's forceful implication.
I'm really surprised.
Sir, it's forceful implication, I think.
Cultural assertion is the core demand of the question. More than 10 people have answered this question. How come is it possible? Is it Jay Google? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cultural assertion is the main core demand of the question. And in the 15 attendance, more than 10 people have written the answer and posted. At least, okay, see, I am happy you are making an attempt to write the answer by seeing Google, by seeing some websites, by seeing their model answers, by seeing your model answers or your answers. I am able to guess like, okay, you have borrowed this content from somewhere. I am okay with it. Okay, because for me as a faculty and for the institution, we want to promote or inculcate the answer writing, which you people are doing good. But whatever you are doing, try to understand what you are doing. There is a proverb in Hindi, don't feel bad, but it says, nakal bhi akal se karna hai. Means even when you do something, you need to apply the mind. Okay, so when you are, see, with all this thing, you are making a conscious effort to go search for a model answer and then bring out the relevant points. So I definitely admire your efforts. But in the process of this effort, you should learn something is what we aspire to do. Okay. Questions are tough. And definitely, you know, society questions are in paper one always considered to be tricky, not straightforward. Okay. But then you have to be prepared, because now that almost all of you have one more year time. Okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, you people have one more year time. And as you start honing your skills, at least ensure that next time when you give prelims and mains, you should end up with a rank. Okay. So that is the process which we are trying to do. Okay. So what Bhaskar, I think he has joined. Bhaskar, you are an anthropology optional guy. What do you mean by cultural assertion? We are discussing first question. Bhaskar, you can unmute and speak. Are you available, Bhaskar? Okay, one final chance I'll give to someone who has joined just now, Rajni.
Sir, today I haven't written any answers.
Okay. See, some of them, I'm not expecting everyone to write the answers because I myself gave you very short notice. Okay. So first of all, I regret that, but then at least now that's why I'm doing, since we have only 3 questions, I can spend more time discussing questions, and I am trying to involve you people in the discussion today instead of one way. And I feel that today's questions are slightly tricky also. Okay. And hence I am ready for having the discussion. Just tell me, Rajni, Vaishnavi has given some message in the about cultural assertion. What do you understand by cultural assertion? The question is regionalism because of cultural assertion? What is cultural assertion? I'm not even asking you what is the model answer. Model answer I am going to discuss of Anil, but what is cultural assertion? Rajni, what is cultural assertion? Okay, what is assertion? What is assertion? Huh?
Hegemony of the dominant class or culture over the others.
Is it dominant class? Assertion means they say, right, don't be so assertive. What do they mean when you then they say what do what do you mean by asserting? Asserting yourself means pushing your opinion. Yes. Some of you write right in your Insta handles and all that I am assertive. What do you mean by assertive? That you are slightly dominant in nature. It is not about dominant class or something. It's about your personality. Being assertive is means pushing your point across. That much you are clear. What is assertion? Yeah, Prashanti. A kind of forceful behavior. It is not aggression. It is assertion. So pushing one's point across, they are called assertive. Now tell me what is cultural assertion in this context? Now tell me what do you mean by cultural assertion? Rajni, now tell me what is cultural assertion?
Putting the practices of one's culture over the others. For example, we can say the Hindi imperialism.
Exactly. Over. Now you understood the question. Raghu
Yes, sir.
also gave right points. Bhaskar, our customs and norms determine the things what we have done. No, not exactly. Assertion means pushing one's culture over other, or putting one's culture as a prominent one. When we say Dalit assertion, what is Dalit assertiveness? Dalits are saying that we are also empowered. We have rights. We are to be heard. That is Dalit assertion. Similarly, cultural assertion means my culture is also superior. We are here to stay. Our culture is also prominent. Yes, cultural determinism, kind of cultural determinism. Okay. Assertion means pushing one's point across. In this context, cultural assertion means portraying or believing that my culture also has an equal stake in the society. So now the question is this kind of thought responsible for regionalism? Writing model answer or writing a 150-word answer is never a big deal in mains. The biggest deal, as you keep on writing questions, you'll understand, is to understand the question itself. When you don't understand the question in mains, you write some answer which you think was beautifully presented and may end up with either 0 marks or 1 mark. The moment you understand the question, you will realize that the question was nothing but what you have learned. Okay. Now tell me everyone, is the question now simple to you all? Now what
Yeah, sir.
is that excessive importance or excessive pushing of one's culture responsible for regionalism? Now you tell me the model answer. Raghu, unmute yourself and tell me the model answer now.
Sir, we can define the definition of regionalism and the definition of cultural
Now
assessment.
I'm open. 1 minute. I'm opening Anil's question answer now. Tell me, Raghu.
Sir, we can define the definition of regionalism
Loud, slightly loud, please.
and definition of regionalism and how it is impacted in India. What are the consequences? Like in some Northeastern states, we can have a religionistic religion, and in Telangana, we can expect that political leaders are not from Telangana.
Telangana movement was also kind of cultural assertion. Okay. See, okay, you made good points, Anil, but I'll try to make your answer better. I've seen most of you have gone extensively in explaining what is regionalism, but the core demand of the question is regionalism as a consequence of cultural assertion. So you need to write what exactly cultural assertion means. Okay, you mentioned 2 lines about regionalism, no doubt. Then come to cultural assertion. Then you link both of them. Okay. So what is cultural assertion? When people think their culture is also very important and attracts the kind of limelight of other cultures, or when they feel that their culture is being suppressed, they are asserting the rights for their culture. That is assertion. Write 2 lines about it, 2 lines about regionalism, and then straight away come to regionalism as a consequence of cultural assertion. So what are various cultural assertions in India? One is the cultural assertion of the ethnic groups. The entire Northeast is an ethnic group. So ethnic culturalism comes from the Northeast India. Next is the language cultural assertion. From where is it coming? Language cultural assertion, anyone? Where is it coming from?
Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu, very good. Linguistic cultural assertion, when Hindi is being imposed across not only Tamil Nadu, you can say Dravidian states. Even the Karnataka opposes mandatory implementation of Hindi. So the linguistic cultural assertion is coming from the Dravidian states. And what is the other cultural assertion? Other cultural assertion is the suppression of native culture. For example, Telangana. What Telangana people felt is that in the United Andhra Pradesh, their culture was not being given enough prominence. And the moment Telangana state came, Batukamma became the state festival. Bonalu became the state festival, because that is important part of Telangana culture, cultural assertion. Similarly, Jharkhand, when tribes were not given proper prominence in the Bihar, they demanded for Jharkhand, and then the tribal state became a prominent aspect of their cultural assertion. What else can be what are the other aspects of cultural assertion? Distinct language, distinct ethnicity. Okay. And within Kashmir, distinct religion. Distinct religion. Okay. So these are important aspects. I think yes, Raghu, Nagaland tribes. Just let me see one more answer. So, Anil, is it clear? Then you can conclude saying that the cultural assertion which has picked up of late is a significant aspect in the development of regionalism. While promoting and protecting individual culture is important in the interest of unity and diversity of the India, the overall unity of India as a nation shall not compromise in the interest of, in view of raising cultural assertiveness. That's all. What we are trying to say is, yes, cultural assertion is good. I being a Telugu fellow, I will say, yes, Telugu is my language. I love my language. That is good as long as Telugu says that I am above India. No, not allowed. So this is also one good way of presenting. I have seen Raghu's paper and just like this presentation. In society, try to do like this. You see, what are the cultural issues he has mentioned in the answer, and then through map he has explained the examiner that not only I know the issues, I know the states also. For internal security, for society related answers, drawing an India map is very, very good and a nice practice. And you need not draw it to the scale. In fact, I would say Raghu has drawn it very well. If I were Raghu, I would not have drawn even this better. But it is very good practice to mention that you know what are the cultural issues at hand. Okay.
Sir, once can you repeat conclusion?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll get back to you. So similar thing by Jitendra. He has drawn only South India or entire India? Jitendra, is this your India?
All India.
That is pan India. Okay. Don't send this booklet out anywhere, huh? Or else you will be sued.
Sir, in third question, I draw good India, sir.
Okay. So you have given, see again, the points you have mentioned should be expanded. That's what I told you, right? You are giving all one-liners. Kashmir movement, Khalistan movement. Better, you have to expand these kind of issues.
Yes, sir.
Shiv Sena, you can mention Renuka because Shiv Sena is a movement which is known for Son of Soil movement in Maharashtra. Okay. It is known for Son of Soil movement in Maharashtra. So you can mention. Right. So the conclusion can be something modified from Raghu's part. Okay, as I told, it appears that definitely cultural assertion is leading to regionalism, but then it is cultural assertion is okay, is good as long as it is not disturbing the unity fabric, the fabric of unity in India. Because ultimately regionalism or any kind of assertion should not be beyond the nationalism. So we have to make our conclusion in such a way that the cultural assertion should not be over and above the nationalism. Okay, the culturalism should not be over and above the nationalism. So you can say it appears that cultural assertion is definitely impacting a kind of regional feelings, but the promotion of culture is with holding the individuals together. At the same time, we should ensure that this cultural assertion should not be a threat to national unity. Clear? What is the basis of regionalism? Is that unequal distribution of benefits of development on regional basis eventually promotes regionalism? Substantiate your answer. Tell me. Good question again. So, Vasavi, did you submit your answer script? Yeah, please look at the second question, everyone. Vasavi, can you just submit your question answers immediately here? Please post it in the latest window. Just submit it once again in the group. Okay. Meanwhile, see the second question, everyone. What is the basis of regionalism? Question mark. First part of the question. Is it that unequal distribution of benefits of development on regional basis eventually promotes regionalism? Substantiate your answer. What should be the approach? Anyone? Second question answer. Second question answer, anyone? What is regionalism? So tough a topic?
Sir, is it okay to explain all the basis of regionalism, or we can directly enter into economic basis of regionalism?
You have to explain basis of regionalism. First part of the question.
Yes.
Yes, Bhaskar. Part A of the question is, part A of the answer is explaining the basis of regionalism, then agreeing with the statement, substantiating with suitable examples, and then conclusion. Perfect. Now tell me, Bhaskar, now that you understood the framework of the answer, what are the points? So Bhaskar says, for this question, the first part of the answer would be, you give the basis for regionalism. What are the various factors or reasons for regionalism? Then agree with the examiner. Yes, of course, unequal distribution of benefits of development is a basis for regionalism. Then substantiate with suitable examples and then give conclusion. Everyone is agreeing with this framework?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the answer then? Yes. So Vasavi, you have to give a conclusion. While your basis for regionalism, the diagram is very good. Okay. But before that, you have to give an introduction, ma. Don't directly jump there. You just explain 1 or 2 lines as to what is regionalism. Okay. All your points are taken. So what is the basis of regionalism? Unequal development. Yes, unequal development. Basically, ethnic conflicts, suppression of certain languages, caste assertion. You have to put caste assertion. Caste and religion are not the basis for regionalism. They are one of the factors which put assertion. Okay. Distinct cultural identity. Yes. Lack of political representation. Yes, definitely. Okay. Religion and caste are not direct basis for regionalism. They are responsible indirectly through assertion. Okay. Good. You have marked the figure label also. So you are taking the feedback. That's good. Yeah, economic factors also you can mention, Raghu. You can mention the social factors, political factors, and economic factors also. If some basically development or lack of resources or underdevelopment, we mean to say in economic aspects only. Okay. Basically, you have never seen a state saying that my illiteracy is more, so I want separate state. No one will say that. They say that we are underdeveloped with regard to economy. That's why we want a separate state. Okay. So now coming to the second part of the question, how unequal distribution of benefits leads to the development of regionalism as a thought. How it promotes regionalism, unequal distribution of benefits. Okay. So what all examples you can write here? Substantiate means they are expecting for everything you write in the second part of the answer, you have to give examples. Unequal distribution of benefits. You can take the case of Telangana. Case of Telangana is what? The slogan of Telangana movement was Needlu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu. Nidulu means funds. So the diversion of surplus funds to the Andhra region was one of the grievance of Telangana people. So Telangana movement is based on unequal distribution of benefits, number 1. Next, the Vidarbha movement. Vidarbha movement is again unequal distribution of benefits. Give examples. Number 3, Gorkha land movement. It's an ethnic and developmental issue. Gorkha land is ethnic and developmental issue. Next, the Nagaland issue. It is also ethnic and developmental issue. You can even mention Kashmir issue. Though Kashmir issue is a different zoner, Kashmir is feel that they are not having proper access to development. Okay, you have to give examples. You have to keep on making examples. So she has made Telangana movement, Vidarbha movement. So two, you can give Gorkha land. Okay. What all examples you can give? Yes, you can write the example of Green Revolution. Green Revolution definitely created regional inequalities. Like Punjab and Haryana, how they became extremely rich. Okay. So the conclusion can be like this. Regionalism per se has never threatened the national integrity. However, when the national resources are unequally distributed, it causes a sense of grievance amongst various states and subregions, which may create regionalism to an extent where it may threaten national integration. The need of the hour is to ensure that the growth is inclusive and sustainable by bringing all states and stakeholders together. That's all. Good answer, Vasavi. Is the second question clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to add? Rajni, Sriram, Navya, Vaishnavi, Indu.
No, sir.
See, regionalism, like globalization, has only so many examples, like set of 5 to 6 examples, because regionalism is not a pan-India concept. Okay, it's hardly in pockets like Vidarbha, Jharkhand, Northeast, Telangana. Okay, so how do you make use of those examples in the context of the question given is a wise thing which you have to do in the examination hall. Okay. You see 2013 question. Why do you think that question was given in that year?
Telangana movement of 2014.
Telangana movement was at its peak in 2013. And see the direct question. Growing feeling of regionalism is an important factor in generation of demand for separate state. Discuss. So for this question, what will be our approach? Sushmita is in class? No. Jitender's is done. Raghu I have seen. Remaining all people have seen at least one question. So Indu, I think. Indu, I have not seen your paper till date, right? Yes. Anyone, what is the third answer? How do you write the third answer? So people who have not written answer today, for you it is an opportunity to impromptu think about this question and make some points. In exam, you will not have 10 minutes to think, right? It's only 30 seconds you have to think and reproduce that answer. Growing feeling of regionalism is an important factor in generation of demand for separate state. Discuss. What do you write for this answer? For this question, sorry.
Sir, we can give the reasons for that
Okay.
demanding separate state, and then we can further elaborate it as the growing only regionalism is not only a factor, but there is also other factors we can conclude by.
Very good. Very good. So it's a question which is trying to trap you by saying only regionalism, feeling of regionalism is an important factor for separate state. So they are trying to say that only regionalism is responsible for separate state. No. While you have to support that statement, because regionalism is definitely responsible to an extent for the demand of separate state, there are various other factors and justify that. So the first part of the question, you are clear. First explain regionalism, definition, 1 or 2 lines. Next come to regionalism responsible for statehood, other factors responsible for state demand, then conclude. Framework, is it clear? Is the framework clear?
Yes, sir.
Framework is like this. I am repeating, just try to understand. Introduction, regionalism as a basis for state demand, other reasons for state demand, finally conclude. Anyone has any other thought in this? Sriram, agreeing with this framework?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, now Vaishnavi, you tell me what you write for first part of the question, that growing feeling of regionalism is an important factor in generation of demand for separate state. So the side heading would be regionalism as a factor for separate state demand. Side heading. Under that, what are the points you mentioned?
So we can talk about that this demand for regionalism has been existed since independence,
Okay.
and for that we can elaborate it saying with various reasons. One is economic deprivations, disparities among the states,
Okay.
lack of employment opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
unequal distribution.
Just as I told you in the previous answer, you can use the same examples of Vidarbha, Telangana, Gorkha land. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So you can say that regionalism was existing right from independence. Okay. And then there are many reasons for which the regionalism is there. For example, lack of development, unequal distribution of economic dividend amongst the various regions. So these, and then the problem of diverting the surplus of one region to another region. And you can even use the first question answer in the last one. The cultural assertion of regions is also an important aspect of regionalism. So based on all this, regionalism is creating a divisive tendency and a demand for separate state. First part. Now, what are the other factors of separate state demand? What are the other aspects of separate state? Ethnicity. The Naga issue is regional as well as ethnicity. Political representation, yes, good point. Ethnicity, political representation, border states.
Linguistic identities.
Yes, what else?
Linguistic identity, sir.
Administrative convenience. What, Srinam?
Linguistic identity, sir.
Linguistic identity. You just write down all this. Administrative convenience, sharing borders with international countries, ethnic identities, and then lack of political representation. Administrative convenience, if you remember, when Mayawati government was there in UP, she has passed a resolution to divide UP into 4 states. Of course, that was not implemented because of own political reasons, but I would say that is a very wise move. Son of soil is basically regionalism, Vaishnavi. Okay. So apart from regionalism, we are talking now. You can mention son of soil in the factors for regionalism. Now we are coming beyond regionalism and saying that what are the other factors which may be responsible for demand for a separate state? Okay. Again, you can conclude by saying regionalism and other various factors have led to periodic and sporadic demands of separate state. However, these movements have never given any threat to the national integration in the independent India. The need of the hour is to address the legitimate grievances of all the stakeholders so that any divisive tendencies within the national fabric are addressed through constitutional and democratic means. How is the conclusion? Always take a stand with regard to secularism, regionalism, communalism, that these are there in the society, but they have not harmed the national fabric. Please make sure. Yes, Bhaskar. See, basically regionalism, what we want to say is the conclusions. Yes, the first 3 questions conclusions will look similar today, because if you take the topics of secularism, communalism, regionalism, our intention is to say that these are existing in Indian society. We cannot go away from it. As long as regional parties are there, as long as regional politics are there, and as long as the caste is playing an important part in Indian society, as long as religion is one's identity, and this communalism, regionalism are going to stay. But the fact which everyone will acknowledge is these so-called divisive philosophies could not impact the national integration till date. You can talk about Khalistan also, Rajni. Tell me, is everyone agreeing that these philosophies of regionalism and communalism have not impacted the national integration till date? These are all sporadic movements. Did Telangana movement impact India's national fabric? No. Did Gorkha land impact national fabric? No. Did Vidarbha movement impact national fabric? No. So these are movements happening in pockets for their own legitimate grievances as they think. But what we are trying to say is these movements could not displace India as a nation.
What about Kashmir issue?
What?
Kashmir issue.
Sorry, you're sounding.
Kashmir issue, sir. Kashmir issue.
Kashmir issue. Kashmir
Yeah.
issue, is it impacting India as a nation or Indian unity? Are people fighting on roads for Kashmir? Kashmir is, see, any issue is not impacting Indian unity, right?
Yeah, sir.
That's what we want to show in our answers, because regionalism, if it spreads like an ulcer, it becomes a very big issue where it may threaten the national integrity. If Tamilians say that we want separate country, Telangana says we want separate country, if Gujarat says separate country, that is what is will impact the national integration. Kashmiris are saying separate country, but because of that, remaining 28 states, are they fighting for this reason? No. Hindu regionalism has helped in improving the regional culture and assertion, like Bonalu and all that I have discussed in the first answer, right? But for the last question, the culture assertion is only subset. It is not the main theme. Okay. But what is the, Rajni, you are saying that the greater Nagalim concept is basically trying to bring all the Nagas into one umbrella. What is the response of other states? Arunachal is not agreeing. Assam is not agreeing. Manipur is not agreeing. Are these states fighting at India level? No, only Nagaland, that to a particular factional force is trying for this greater Nagalim. Understood, Rajni? It is not threatening national integration. See, it is all perception, Bhaskar. Kashmir issue. You tell me at global level who is now talking about Kashmir issue, except that one resolution of OECD countries. Sorry, yeah, OECD, OIC, Islamic countries, Organization of Islamic Countries. Except for their resolution, did West talk about anything on Kashmir? They talk about some random human rights and all, but Kashmir is integral part of India or not, no one is willing to talk, because today India enjoys such a soft power on global stage. And how is it threatening national integrity? No, right? Tamilians issue also, Raghu. You can mention it, but Tamilian issue, how is it impacting national integrity? Is Tamil Nadu asking for separate country just because Sri Lankan Tamils are not treated properly? National integrity, we mean to say, like what happened during the Hindi movement in 1966. When Hindi was imposed, all South Indian states came at once and said, if you impose, then we may have to separate. That kind of movement is not there. Even that movement only temporarily had given a scare to Indian unity, but it was subsequently again dissolved. What I mean to say is no movement, no philosophy is bigger than the national identity called Indian that you need to project. That shows your maturity and understanding of the topics at macro level. Understood? So those are the three questions. Okay, I was just told before this class, I was talking to Ramana sir, and seems like we have completed close to 50 questions in last 10 days. And it just sounds surprising to me that we could do 50 questions in no time. and we are already counting. So, and that brings an end to our society questions. So we have done close to 50 questions in society. My God. So I was telling sir that, sir, if this initiative was there during my time, I would have scored not less than 10th rank AIR. So very fortunate, and I mean, it's just not exaggerating, but very fortunate that you people are in this initiative and you are writing so many answers, carrying so many concepts, so many approaches home, and collectively you people are learning something. You are so your society is done. What myself and Ramana sir have planned is that we are next going for social justice. Okay, social justice and development. Before that, since the society was a huge topic and you have been tested across various areas, from Indian unity and diversity, globalization, communalism, regionalism, women empowerment, so many topics have been discussed. We are giving you 2 days break. Break means not from studies. Okay, 2 days time to go back to your drawing boards. So many model answers by me were discussed. Your model answers were evaluated. Some model answers were highlighted. Some model answers were given proper feedback. All this was an exercise going on for last 10 days. So we believe that you need time to implement this feedback. And hence we are giving you 2 days time, tomorrow and day after, before we start the next from Thursday. Tomorrow and after, what you need to do is go back to your drawing board, look at all the 50 questions you have written. If you have not yet written, please write at least 50% of these questions. Look at your answer before, randomly pick some 5-6 questions from this 50. Now that you have decent awareness, decent content, approach, framework, introduction, conclusion, now write from fresh perspective, write the answers. Now see the difference. And for all the 50 odd questions, write in fact, you implement the points which were given as feedback. Right? When you do all this, what you have studied, you will take forward. Or else you will forget this the moment next module will be launched. That is of social justice and development. Only when you do this, you will remember what has been done for last 10 days. I'm being very honest with you. I'm sure most of you will continue with your preparation and hopefully crack very good ranks in the future. This year was a aberration.
Sir, can you take a small introduction or the kind of approach class on social justice, because how to attempt and change the answer writing and basic idea on what is social justice and how to write and all.
Then on Thursday we'll do it.
Yeah, sir.
Thursday we'll do it. So I'm sure most of you will be continuing the preparation and doing hard work, and if not today, tomorrow you'll all get ranks. And I'm also sure the day you get the rank, the first phone call will come to myself and Ramana sir. Because this exercise, you won't believe. I'm being again honest and very, very emotional also, because if I had this kind of initiative, if I would have not got less than 10th rank, I would have been doing injustice to myself. So please make sure that you get the maximum benefit of this initiative. And it's not only one way that I am telling you. Someone has evaluated your peer answers. I think it's Vasavi. Very good, ma. And similar to Vasavi, you all spend time on your friends' answers. When I'm making my model answers, after making my model answers, I'm being very honest. You know me, right? I'm not someone who will hide my sources. I write my model answer, then I make it a conscious effort to see at least 10 to 15 answer scripts. If there are some good points in your answers, I am picking them. I have no ego like, array, what this fellow has written, she has written, I have to take their answer. No, UPSC is not at all about egos. It's all about mutual learning and collective learning. I am also picking up points from your answers. When I make a model answer, I just randomly see some scripts, some 5 to 6 scripts. And if the points are good, I'm picking up into my model answer. I've picked up model answers from my model answer points from all your answer scripts at some point of time. Everyone. If I felt I missed this point, yeah, array, she has mentioned this point. Okay, let's pick the point. So that's only when my knowledge grows. I am selfish in that aspect. I hope you also be selfish with regard to the quest of knowledge. Okay, that's only when your learning doesn't stop. The moment you think that you are the best, then the next moment you will fall down. I never consider myself best. I am also learning. You also should learn. If you have that attitude, your mind is open, you will take constructive inputs. Who is Sri Ram to tell me? Who is Bhaskar to tell me? Who is Rajni to tell me? After all, they are my people who are also writing prelims like me. The moment that kind of thought comes to anyone, including the names I have taken, it will be only decremental path. Be open to your friends' suggestions. Don't take it to personal. If someone says, array, your answer is not good. Array, how dare you call my answer not good? Are you so great in writing answers? Don't go with that confrontational attitude. Okay, my answer is not good. So what made you feel that my answer is not good? Please let me know. That is how you will open your mind and also people are evaluating. Don't simply press your points onto others. If you're saying it's not good, justify why it's not good. And I would like to see more of peer review. Kalyan sir has shared the template. Hardly any peer review happens. Don't expect Nishant sir to evaluate 20 answer sheets daily. And if someone is sending me personal window, don't think that I am going to evaluate because they have sent in personal window. No. We have decided a template that daily, if there are 5 answers, 5 students will be picked up and their questions will be discussed. And remaining people, who all are missed, you people do on based on our discussion. What is stopping you? Are you so busy that you can't spend 10-15 minutes? At least one person do one answer. At least one person do one booklet of your friend. And you see the difference apart from the model answer. When you look at your friends from examiner perspective, you will know why the introduction and conclusion becomes important. You will know what is the framework to be adopted. When you look from the examiner's perspective, your vision of answer writing will change. That is what is needed. The numbers will keep increasing. 50 questions, 100 questions, 200 questions. By the time you realize by the December, you must have done some 500, 600 questions. But if you don't take the learnings into your mind and then implement, I'm happy to see some people implementing my feedback, like labeling the figures, writing SDG goals. So these are what I'm expecting. So please do that. Please take care and we'll meet again in the next class. Till then, what I've told today, just go and revise and implement them. Okay? Bye everyone.